Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It's getting to the point now, another week. I guess I won't be able to start these so early. I have to wait till after 6 for the news and whatnot to come on, because it's just dark. Further we get away from June 20th, you know, we got the daylight savings time. But anyway, enough complaining, although I think it's a valid complaint. Got Windsor Canadian from 1880. This is not the original recipe. This is an 80 proof, but it had been 80 proof for a long time. They call it the modern proof. I'm talking about decades ago. But it used to be aged 4 years. Now it's been dropped to 3. I get a suspicion that it's a 3-year aged Canadian Club. I can't back that up. It's just a suspicion. Doesn't really matter because it's a different brand, you know. Canadian Club is aged 5 years. So it would make sense that Beam-Suntory could put out a young version of 3-year. $10.99 for the bottle. The competitor is from 1972. Not that old. Well, still nearly 50 years old. Canadian Limited. See if I can get the glare off of it. Can't use outside light to help me. This is inexpensive at Walmart. $7.49. Okay, let's see something. Trying to close out a window or a tab. Had no purpose of being open. So I like to look at these and see how many times they say Canadian. To clean that up. That is. It says Canadian 1, Limited Canadian 2, Canadian Limited 3. Then it's got the 2 crowns, a band of fleur-de-lis on the shield, a lion, 2 lions, a beaver chewing on a branch. Limited, okay. Canadian whiskey with natural flavors 4. Bottled by Fleischmann Distilling, Owensboro, Kentucky. Interesting label. Fleischmann's was bought out by Sazerac years ago. Was an independent company. Wasn't just a name, a marquee. It was an actual distilling company. I think Owensboro, though, today is just a bottling plant. They don't distill there. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look back at the Sazerac website. All right. I would assume, but you see, I thought yesterday I would get it right with Rich and Rare Reserve versus Windsor, but I got it mixed up. But that's kind of tough because the Rich and Rare Reserve isn't really like that heavily flavored Canadian whiskey, you know what I mean? It's more just like more wood and corn liquor with some rye. So the Limited have more of a will have more of the flavoring aspect to it. Appearance. Well, the Windsor is lighter. It's more golden, and the Limited maybe is a deeper gold, nearing amber, heading toward amber. But I would not say that either one is really amber. Maybe gold amber, amber gold. So if they're close, like if it's a virtual tie, then Canadian Limited wins because it's over $3 cheaper per bottle. Talking about $3.50 cheaper per bottle. Now, if you want to pay $3.50 for no particular reason, go ahead. Now, it does have a brown bottle, the Windsor, which is an advantage. The clear bottle can be an issue if the grocery store or liquor store just has it setting out under those lights. And we know they will do that. If you think they're going to protect it from light, you are incorrect. Because you know as well as I do, they're not worried about that. Now, at least with liquor, you don't have to worry about the date. It's not going to go bad, but there is a reason for the brown bottle from what I was reading on liquor webs, actual company website, liquor company, not just somebody talking. Okay. But that's the question. Can I tell them apart? I don't know. And secondly, is the Windsor $3 better per bottle? $3.50 better per bottle. I would doubt that. I tend to doubt that. There's no age statement on the limited, meaning it's a minimum of 3 years. Canadian whiskey has to be aged in wooden barrels, oak barrels, for a minimum of 3 years. This has no age statement. Got the Sazerac website on there. Welcome to the, oh, we love to hear from our customers. They always have that on their bottles. Anytime you see a bottle that says, we love to hear from our customers, that's Sazerac. Especially when you see the website and the email. Now, it might have a deceptive, like at Barton brands, but that's Sazerac. But the Barton will have the same thing. We love to hear from our customers. And they are very helpful. You call them up to tell you where to buy the stuff. Pungent grain alcohol here. Sweet corn, distilled corn, maize. Some rye spice. Now, a lot of people like Canadian whiskey because you get that kind of feeling. Whereas the bourbon, you get the charred oak, the heavy oak and char, which some people don't like, and the heavy corn. I think it's okay. I don't love it. This one doesn't have as much aroma here. This one is a little rye spice and kind of like water. You say, ah, but glacial water, right? Little corn, much more muted. So that's making me think. That is making me think that it might be the Windsor, because the Windsor was more subdued, whereas the Canadian Limited is more kind of heavy-handed. These inexpensive ones can be sort of like clunky, you know what I mean? They lack refinement. But the taste, I think, is going to give it away. Let's go with the taste. Pretty strong burn. I had that heartburn last night, waking me up for an hour. But I should have gotten up immediately and taken those tablets, you know, those Tums like thing. I don't almost never get that. I don't know why I had that last night. It was driving me crazy. Maybe it was something in that seafood platter. I don't know. It had to be, because that's the only thing I ate. No, it wasn't a Pop-Tart. 2 Pop-Tarts that did it. Cost me an hour of sleep. There's a little flavoring here, but Not much. So maybe that's the Canadian Windsor. Oh, I'm sorry, the Windsor Canadian. I've been to Windsor, Ontario about 3 or 4 times. Twice I ate at a Chinese restaurant. You had to go down in the basement to the restaurant. It's like go down the stairs. And oh wait, maybe the restroom was in the basement, or what they call it, a washroom, whatever. Something like that. It was kind of weird. I wasn't used to that. But we were able to park on the street both times. It was maybe at a meter or not even there at a meter. Just park, walk around. Okay, that one has more flavoring. Like the flavorings added, with natural flavors added. And so that's making me think it's the limited. It's hard to say though, because I thought the Windsor had that honeycomb, more like a honeycomb cereal taste, which is reminiscent of the, if you ever had Canadian Club, you notice it tastes like honeycomb. It's kind of strange. And initially I thought this was the Windsor because of the subdued aroma. I thought it was going to be kind of an easy taste challenge. Just turned into a real challenge. You know what I'm saying? You heard me? Feel me? Maybe this one has more of the almond extract. Well, it's tough. Well, a lot of grain, boy. Grain. You say, I bet it tastes like distilled grains. You got it. Corn, barley, malt, and rye. Notice I'm not talking about one being way better than the other, am I? No. And I was thinking about that. So I think we have to conclude, the only fair thing would be to conclude that the limited wins because it's $3.50 cheaper per bottle. And it's probably just as good. It's different. They're not the same. They have that Canadian, if you drink enough Canadian whiskey, they have that commonality of flavor, which is hard to describe to someone who hasn't had it. But if you've had it, you know what I mean. But I would just reach for the limited, I have to say. Have I been displeased with the Windsor? Have I been disappointed with the Windsor? No. No. I was very disappointed with the Gibsons. That Gibson's Rare, whatever it's called. I have that huge jug bottle, glass, beautiful bottle, cork, real wood cork. But golly gee, that was probably the most disappointing whiskey I've ever purchased. I really believe so. Yeah. Now, you say, well, is it the worst? I didn't say it was the worst. Say most disappointing. I've had some that were bad, but I didn't expect them to be that good anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like Bellows Club whiskey, that stuff gets worse every time I drink it. But I wasn't expecting it to be good to start with. Now, the regular Bellows turned out to be good, relatively good. So that was a benefit. But these are not disappointing at all. The limited is actually better than I thought it was going to be, quite a bit better. And the Windsor is kind of, it's about what I thought it would be. Kind of okay, good. You could even argue excellent in a way. I know I've been accused of being an easy scorer. I don't think it's because I'm a bad scorer. I just think it's because this day and age, 2019, and it probably was the case even 30 years ago, there's so many good things on the market. beer, wine, and liquor, that almost every time you get a good one or an excellent one. Can you find bad beers, bad wine, bad liquor? Yeah, but those are the hard ones to find, not the good. Master Yarn says, cheers, Ron. Cheers to you. Now, so I'm going to call it, and then if y'all want to see in a few minutes, the last few minutes for the news comes on at the top of the hour. And overnight, I'll listen to CBS on the hour. CBS News on the hour comes on at the top of the hour. On the radio, that's pretty good to listen to. CBS News on the hour. You get, well, news on the hour. Okay, one more sip. I honestly think this is the limited. Just got too much of that rum, white rum flavor, which will make you think of almond extract, but now we know it's that sugary rum. So I'm going to say, which one's better? Call them, pick them, you know, it's up to you. No clear winner, which means limited wins by default. Because of the fact that it is $3.50 cheaper. Money might not matter to you, but it matters to me. I try to be careful with my expenditures and try to keep things in check. You say, oh, but that's the root of evil. Money is the root of evil. No. That's often this quote. I hear that all the time. People say, the Bible says money is the root of all evil. The Bible doesn't say that. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. And money is a secondary need. It's not a primary need. So they don't love money because it's just something used for something else. So see, it's the love of what they want with the money. You understand the needs and the wants, and it's people start to want more than they need, and it's greed. It's greed and lust, power, and all that. Well, anyway, I say this is the limited. So here we go. If it says W, I'm wrong. If it doesn't say W, I'm right. 2 days straight. Got it wrong. That's W. That's Windsor. Okay. Well, I know what some people would say. You have to replicate it. Doing it one time and getting it wrong doesn't mean a whole lot. A good experiment is you try to factor out variables and you replicate. Was this a valid experiment? I think it was valid. I think it tested what it was supposed to test. Is it reliable? This I don't know. Reliability was based on repetition. So I just don't have the time to do that. I'm not going to do it 10 times. It would be more better. But then I have so many brands I wouldn't ever get to anything. And thirdly, it doesn't really even matter, you know. So you say, well, what, you know, doesn't even matter if that's a reliable experiment. I know, but that is how you would establish reliability, through repetition. Yeah, I guess that is Canadian Limited now that I'm tasting it. It does have some of that almond extract. But that was tough. But then that kind of makes you think of the honeycombs. That was a tough one. That was a real tough one. I'm a bit shocked. Now, Tuesday, I'm planning to do Canadian Hunter versus Windsor. Is Canadian Hunter now the same as it was in 1984 when Seagram's introduced it? I have a feeling that when Sazerac bought it in 1989, because that's when they bought it, only 5 years after it was introduced, they probably morphed it into one of their concoctions. Do I have any proof of that? None whatsoever. Except that I do know that Sazerac bought Canadian Hunter from Seagram's, and plus a lot of other brands like James Fox, in 1989. That was sort of like the beginning signs that maybe Seagram's was beginning to collapse. Because in 1989, 11 years before they collapsed, they're selling off liquor brands and they're buying amusement parks, magazine companies. It was like they really badly lost their focus. And by the 90s, Seagram's had more money invested in non-liquor endeavors than liquor. They were one of the world's biggest liquor companies, and most of their business did not involve liquor. And then we know what happened in 2000. They had that recession, kind of a minor recession, really, but they got caught out on it. You know, they got caught out, and they had an issue where they couldn't make their, well, that's why companies always go bankrupt. They can't service their debt. When you can't make your debt payments, you know, the creditors are going to chop it up. And that's what happened. But that's another story, and we're not worrying about that. It's interesting. The history is interesting. I like the history of the brands more than anything, I think. So we got 5 minutes left. Does anybody want to see what we purchased yesterday? I know I keep preaching a sermon and I don't follow the message. But I keep finding these deals that are ridiculous. And if we weren't swamped with low prices around here, I wouldn't be buying stuff. But we must have some of the cheapest liquor prices in America, in this state. It's so outrageous. If you had a drinking problem and you moved here, you'd have a much worse drinking problem after a few months, I'm afraid. I'm not laughing that off like a joke. Like a joke, it isn't a joke. It's serious. But it would be very hard because the accessibility is so widespread. And you see, it would be very dangerous. Okay, well, nobody's saying anything. I just had bought some more liquor brands, you know, and got some beer brands. And in the coming days and months, I'll be featuring those, especially the beer. You can get to the beer faster. Got some tall cans. I was very, very pleased at Savannah Discount to see those cans. Very pleased. Especially the price was very nice, and or kind of nice. So no, I wasn't able to tell Windsor Canadian from Canadian Limited, but that's how it goes sometimes. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. I think Tuesday I'll be able to get it right. By the time I start getting it correct, it'll be over. But I think I have to focus on almond extract, which it doesn't contain. Neither one of these contain that. But it's that mimic aroma, flavor from that rum. I believe it's white rum. So I'm going to focus on that. Really use that as a clue Tuesday for the Canadian Hunter. And I think I'll be able to get it right. And then that would be a $2 difference. Canadian Hunter would be $8.99 for the bottle at a good price store. And then Windsor will be $10.99. So is Windsor going to be $2 better per bottle? I seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt that. But we'll find out. Time will tell. So thanks for watching this video production. And have a great Sunday. I think we'll be back, or we'll try to be back at about 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central this morning for Look Back in Anger at Stout Sunday. That's what we're going to call it. Look Back in Anger at Stout Sunday. That should be a fun one. Interesting and enjoyable. Thank you.